You know that feeling, right? That constant juggling act. Your backlog is just bursting with brilliant ideas, but your team's bandwidth, it feels like this perpetually shrinking pie.
Mm.
It's not just about what to do, but maybe even more what not to do, especially when everyone's kind of pulling in different directions and every urgent request, well, it landed yesterday.
It's so true.
Mm.
And often, in those high stakes moments, the decisions, they can just default to well, a gut feeling,
Yeah,
or maybe even just, who shouts the loudest in the room.
right.
And that's not just inefficient. It creates a ton of internal friction. It can mean that really valuable stuff just gets pushed aside.
Hmm.
So the core question isn't only what to do, but really how do you bring some objectivity, some structure to those crucial choices?
Right, that objectivity you mentioned, that's really where a framework like the RICE scoring model comes in, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can really shine there. RICE, it's actually an acronym, stands for four key things: reach, impact, confidence, and effort. And it's designed to bring, well, clarity to that chaos, help you make those tough calls.
Hmm.
So our goal today really is to sort of unravel each of these factors, see how they fit together in this surprisingly simple formula,
Yeah.
and ultimately show you how rice can genuinely cut through the noise, that feeling of being overwhelmed, and help you focus on what really moves the needle, turn those vague ideas into tangible, high-impact results.
And hey, this isn't just for product managers. Understanding a framework like RICE, it offers this really powerful way of thinking about intentional decision making. Resource allocation, too.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
applies to so many parts of life, really. It's about turning ambition into a clear, um, defendable roadmap for pretty much any endeavor you're tackling. It gives you a real edge in this world of constant demands.
Okay, so let's kick things off with that first letter then, R for reach. When we talk about reach in this context, what exactly are we trying to measure? Why is it so fundamental?
All right, so reach. Basically, it measures how many people will actually be affected by whatever feature or initiative you're thinking about,
Yeah.
usually within a set time frame, like, say, a quarter.
Okay.
You're trying to estimate the number of users who will actually interact with it or, directly benefit from the change you're proposing.
Got it.
And the goal here is to use real, measurable metrics if you can. Things like monthly active users, maybe new signups, or even transactions per period, stuff like that.
Right.
A higher reach score just indicates that more users will benefit.
Mhm.
So the initiative is inherently more valuable just in terms of its potential spread.
Okay, so if reach tells us the who, then I impact, that tackles the how much.
Ah.
This is where it gets a little more nuanced, maybe a bit subjective. How do we quantify something like impact?
Yeah, this is where Rice really kind of challenges conventional wisdom sometimes. It forces you to weigh the depth of the improvement over just sheer breadth.
Uh,
So impact reflects how much each affected user will actually benefit. The source we looked at suggests this scoring scale, like 3 for massive impact, 2 for high, 1 for medium, uh, zero point 0.5 for low, and even 0.25 for minimal.
mm,
And here's the interesting part. A really transformative change for maybe a small, loyal group, that might consistently outscore some superficial tweak that hits thousands of people.
right. Which is kind of counterintuitive if you're just chasing big numbers.
Exactly. If you're focused purely on vanity metrics, here you're actually trying to quantify these qualitative outcomes,
Yeah,
like, user delight or satisfaction or task completion.
that is fascinating, trying to put a number on delight. How do teams typically align on what massive impact truly means, especially, when different stakeholders might have pretty different views on what matters most?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's exactly why calibrating as a team is so, so crucial. We can touch on that a bit more later. But fundamentally, it forces those conversations right up front, which is valuable in itself. Now, once you think you have a handle on your reach and your impact, you need to check your confidence.
Ah, and that brings us neatly to C for confidence. This feels like the reality check part of the model. Why bake in a confidence score? What's the importance there?
Absolutely. It's totally the reality check. Confidence measures how certain you actually are about your estimates
Mm.
for both reach and impact.
Right.
It's basically designed to stop you from over-prioritizing maybe these really unproven ideas that sound great on paper but lack any solid backing.
Mm-hmm.
The typical scale is something like 100% for high confidence, based on strong data. Maybe 80% for medium, where you've got some data but also some assumptions baked in. And maybe 50% for low confidence, meaning lots of assumptions and very little data.
Okay.
But here's the really powerful part. A low confidence score. It isn't a failure. It's actually a signal.
A signal. How so?
It's Rice telling you, hold on a sec, Before you pour resources into this, you really need to validate these assumptions.
Ah, okay.
So it forces that necessary user research, maybe some experimentation. It helps prevent costly missteps down the line.
So it's really about risk mitigation then, making sure you're not just running on like pure optimism.
Exactly. Pure optimism doesn't usually ship great products.
Huh, fair point. So how do teams usually handle that, that internal resistance when a really exciting, sexy idea gets slapped with a low confidence score and maybe gets pushed down the list?
Well, ideally, it shifts the conversation. It moves from, is this a good idea, to something more like, okay, what do we need to learn to make this a good idea with higher confidence?
Gotcha. Reframes it.
Yeah, reframes it as a learning opportunity, not just a rejection, which then leads us naturally to the final factor.
Right, and then there's the crucial ease effort, because, even the best idea isn't feasible if it's going to take, like, a decade and drain all your resources. What all goes into calculating this final piece?
Yeah, effort is all about the estimated time investment needed, the total time to actually complete the project. And crucially, it includes everyone involved, product design, engineering, QA, the whole team.
Okay, the whole picture.
Right. It's usually measured in something like person months or maybe person weeks of work, depending on how your team tracks things.
Yeah.
It's really vital to keep this realistic, though. Don't forget to factor in stuff like testing, deployment, maybe even ongoing maintenance.
Good point. Easy to forget.
Definitely. The core idea here is that, smaller efforts that promise a big upside. They'll naturally score higher in the overall RICE calculation. This helps make sure you're allocating resources efficiently, not getting bogged down by some massive project that delivers too little, too late.
Makes total sense. So once you have all four of those inputs, your reach, your impact, confidence, and effort, you calculate the final RICE score. And the formula is pretty simple, right? It's just RICE score equals reach times impact times confidence divided by effort.
That's it. Straightforward.
And this gives you that clear, objective number, helps you stack rank your ideas. A higher score suggests basically a higher return on investment relative to the effort you'll need to put in.
Exactly.
So like if you're looking at a new onboarding feature, maybe reach is 4,000 new users, impact score is say 5 for really boosting activation, confidence is maybe 3 based on good data, and effort is like 6 weeks of work. Your RICE score would be 4,000 by 5 by 3, 6. Wait, the scores for impact and confidence aren't percentages or raw numbers like reach? I think the source used a scale for impact and percentage for confidence.
Ah, good catch. You're absolutely right. My mistake mixing those up. Let's rerun that example with the scales we talked about. Let's say reach is 2,000 customers per month.
Okay, 2,000.
Impact, let's say it's high. So that's a 2 on that scale.
Got it. 2 for impact.
Confidence, maybe we have some decent data, so let's call it medium-high, 80% or 0.8.
0.8 confidence.
And effort, let's estimate it at, say, 4 person months.
All right, 4 for effort.
So the RICE score is 2,002, 2.8 divided by 4.
Okay, so that's 4,000, 0.84, which is 3,204 equals 800.
Exactly. So that feature gets a RICE score of 800. You then compare that 800 against the scores for your other potential features or initiatives to help decide what comes next on the roadmap.
Right. Okay, that makes much more sense with the proper scales. So beyond just spitting out a number, RICE really forces this critical internal conversation about what success truly looks like for each thing, right? Turns those vague goals into measurable objectives before you even start building.
Precisely. And our sources really hammered home why this model works so well.
Yeah. What were the key takeaways there?
Well, first, it provides that objective clarity we talked about. It moves you beyond just gut feel by breaking decisions down into these more measurable components.
Right. Takes the emotion out.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
And that transparency is just key. It fosters cross-team alignment because you can have these really open, honest discussions about the trade-off involved.
Instead of just who shouts loudest.
Exactly. Ideas with real user value and, importantly, feasibility are the ones that should win out. Plus, it's incredibly scalable. It works just as effectively whether you're looking at, small product tweaks or much bigger, chunkier roadmap initiatives.
Okay, and building on that idea of transparency and discussion, what are some practical tips for actually making RICE work effectively for your team, getting started?
Okay, yeah, good question. First off, really important. Don't get stuck on perfection with the numbers.
Ah, okay.
The numbers you're generating, they're directional. They're not absolute, precise scientific measurements. It's all about the relative comparison between ideas.
Got it. Compare apples to apples, even if the apples aren't perfectly weighed.
Exactly. Second, and this is crucial, calibrate your scoring as a team.
Yeah.
Sit down together and agree on what each score actually means. What does a 2 for impact look like for us? What does 80% confidence mean? What constitutes a person-month of effort?
So everyone's speaking the same language.
Precisely. You need that shared understanding across the team.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the numbers lose their shared meaning and the whole thing kind of falls apart.
Makes sense. That alignment piece seems key. What else should listeners keep in mind when they're trying this out?
And remember, RISE-C is a tool, a very useful tool,
Mm-hmm.
but still just a tool. It's absolutely not a substitute for human judgment.
Right. Don't turn off your brain.
Please don't. You should always use it alongside, qualitative
Mm-hmm.
input, direct user feedback, strategic insights from leadership, market knowledge, all that good stuff.
Okay.
And finally, I'd advise regular review of your scores. Things change, right? Confidence levels shift, reach estimates might change as you learn more or the market moves. So what scored high last quarter might need a reevaluation today. Keep it dynamic.
Right. It's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Definitely not.
Okay. So bottom line, it seems. RISE-C helps you cut through all that noise. It helps you focus on what's likely to deliver the most value with the least effort and the highest degree of confidence you have right now. It brings structure to decision-making, gives you a defendable method for setting priorities, especially when demands are high and everyone wants everything, yesterday.
Yep, brings method to the madness.
It really helps your roadmap reflect not just ambition, but true intention, focused intention.
Well said.
So just imagine this for a moment. Picture applying the same kind of rigorous thinking, this RISE-E framework, not just to a product roadmap, but maybe to your own personal goals.
Interesting.
How could applying a structured approach like this transform your own personal or professional prioritization challenges? Picture creating your own roadmaps for your aspirations, whether it's a career shift, maybe a passion project you keep putting off, or even just trying to master your daily to-do list.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where you're consciously focusing on delivering the most value with the least relative effort and the highest confidence you have in the outcome. It's really about bringing that focused intention to every decision, big or small, transforming that raw ambition into actionable, high-impact plans. Something to think about.
To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too.